Often in your Power BI report, you will come across the need to show custom time periods that the user would like to see. These are beyond the selection of the current month, something like a YTD or comparison to the last year, or perhaps something more complicated like last 12 months. Now, you can obviously achieve that by writing complicated DAX measures, but that just makes the report so complicated with so many measures. What if you had a slicer, which is where you have defined the custom time periods that you would want to select, and it just magically changes the charts and the graphs on the sheet to just reflect that particular time period? That is going to be so slick and so awesome. In this video, I'll teach you that how do you build that custom slicer with the custom defined time period. More importantly, I'll also talk about the logic behind it and how to set it up so that you can take this, customize it in your own way and apply it to any kind of scenario that you're working with. This is going to be a fun video to watch. Let's start. Before we begin, let's just take a tour of what exactly are we trying to build here. So I've got a very simple chart, kind of table right here. And this table could be as many tables as you would have it on the screen, but for now, just one table. So we've got the brand name, which is coming from the products table, and we have a total sales measure. As a data model, I have a simple sales table connected with my calendar table and my products table, nothing that complicated, with one single calculation called total sales right here. At the moment, if you take a look at the slicer, we have 2009 and the month of July selected. And now if I just take a look at this particular second slicer that I have built, I've defined a couple of custom time periods in here. So for example, if I want to take a look at the last quarter, not the current time period, but the last quarter, I can just go click on that and it shows me the data for the last quarter. It also shows me the time range between when the data is shown. So 1st of April 2009 to 30th of June, and then so on and so forth. I can take a look at last 12 months or last year or this quarter and things like that. Now, once you understand that how do you build this kind of stuff, you will be able to customize it as well. All right, I've done some legwork here, which is where I've got the simple table, brand name here in the rows. Against that, I have the total sales measure and a slicer coming off from my calendar table to define what is the current month which is selected. Now, let's just go start writing a few calculations that are going to help us understand that how do we actually build that particular logic and what is the problem that we're trying to solve in order to get to the solution. So let's just say that even though I have 2009 and the month of July selected, I still want to be able to take a look at the last quarter sales, which is technically the month of April, May, and June combined is what is the number that I want to take a look at it right here. How do we even write that kind of calculation? I'm going to go ahead and create a measure named test, for which I'm going to start writing a very simple calculate function. I still want to calculate my total sales, but the total sales is not going to be calculated for the current selection, which is the month of July. Instead, it is going to be for the previous quarter. And thank God we have a function built in for that. So we have something called as previous quarter, and I can just feed my calendar date in there and we are kind of good to go. If I happen to drag that calculation off to my visual, it shows me some number 134875, but I really do not know if that number is correct or not. So let's just run some validation tests to test our logic, that the logic that we are writing to create these manual calculation, is that correct or not? So I'm just going to go off to page number 2, which is where I've built some simple slicers. So here is the year month slicer. Let's just go pick up the same month at the moment, which is the month of July. It's already selected, and that is where I can take a look at the month of July right here. And let's just say that I am taking a look at a single product called Fabricam. And that is the sales which actually matches my visual as well, 45424. And that is the number that I see it right here as well. Now let's just go test this particular number, 134875. This is going to be for the last quarter. So I'm just going to go and change my selection period. And I'm going to say that, hey, I'm looking at the month of April, the month of May, and the month of June. And the number is 134875. And that is the number that I see it right here as well. Let's just take a look at the total real quick. So if I just uncheck any of the products, I take a look at the total of the 3 months to be 677944, and let's just take a look at the total. That is the correct total. So that calculation is working at the moment. The only problem being that if I have to now start to create multiple time periods like the way that I showed it to you, I'd have to create many such calculations. So this, for example, is for the last quarter, then I have to make it for another one for last 12 months, previous year, so on and so forth. And this is just going to clutter my model with a lot of calculations. Moreover, if you took a look at the DAX measure measure that we wrote, total sales was hard-coded within the measure. And if I want to now write it on units or any other calculation, I then have to write so many more number of measures to adjust it dynamically to other calculations. That is not good. To be able to solve this problem, what we're going to do is we're going to use calculation groups. If you're new to calculation groups and you do not know what they are, I've done a very long video in the past explaining what calculation groups are and their nuances. I'll highly recommend that you please take a look at that video as well. But let's just start creating our first calculation group right in Power BI. All right, I'm in the modeling tab right now, and then I'm going to go to the model on the far right and start creating calculation group. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start to create my first calculation group. So right click on the semantic model, and I'm going to say that I want to make a new calculation group. It happens to be a name of the calculation group, which I can change. So I can just maybe double click on it and call this something more meaningful, which is, let's say, custom period, within which there happens to be a column, and I will call that column as my period column. And let's just start to create calculation items. What are calculation items? Calculation items are like placeholders where you define the logic and then they can be applied to any particular calculation, be it total sales, be it total units, you will see. So I'm going to right click right here and create my first calculation item. And let me just go ahead and rename the first item that was already created and call that as my current month. You can see that my first calculation item is by default set to the selected measure. That means that once the user has picked up the current month in the slicer, I don't want anything to happen. Whatever is the value of the current calculation, I just want to display that. Let's just proceed to our second calculation item. I'm going to call the second one as last quarter. So last QTR, and press enter. We've already built the calculation for the last quarter. And if you remember, we wrote a measure something like this, which is where we said, hey, I want to calculate total sales, but for the previous quarter, and within which I fed my date column right here. And that was the calculation item that we created. Now, this is going to be hard coded to total sales, which is something that I don't want. I want it to work on any particular calculation. So for which I will change the total sales to something called as whatever is the selected measure. Please take that to the previous quarter, and I will commit on that. My next calculation item is going to be last 12 months, which is where I have already created the calculation item for that. Let's just go start writing the DAX for that. So I'm going to go ahead and start to write something like same, which is the calculate function. And I'd like to calculate my selected measure, whatever is my current measure that is being chosen in the visual, whatever that is. Then I'd like to specify that what is the time period that is actually going to take the current date selected to the last 12 months. So I'm going to use the function dates in period. And I'm going to say that, hey, I'd like to start with my calendar date, which is my date column anyways. Then it says, hey, what's your start date? So my start date is going to be the last date in the current period selected. So I'm just going to use the last date function right here in the calendar date. And then it says, how many periods would you like to go back? So I'd like to go 12 months back. So negative 12. And then I'm just going to mention that I'd like to go 12 months back. So all this particular dates in period function is doing is that picking up the last date, whatever last date is selected, and then taking that, like pushing that to the last 12 months, and it just makes a period or a set of dates for that. Simple as that. I can commit on it, and let's just go create our next calculation item. My next calculation item is going to be last year, which is something that I've already created. And I'm going to say this one is going to be simple. So take my total sales and then do that for same period last year of the calendar date. Nothing that complicated. Very, very straightforward. And that is my next calculation item. I then create the next calculation item, which is going to be this quarter. It means no matter what the current month is selected, I want to take a look at the sales of the entire quarter, for which I'm going to write a very simple calculation, which is where I'm saying the same thing, selected measure, but the filter or the filter that I'm designing for picking up the entire quarter is going to be picking up the last date and just finding all the dates within that particular quarter. Simple as that. My last calculation item is going to be YTD, and the formula for that is going to be ridiculously simple. Calculate whatever is the selected measure and then just show the dates up until the year end, like dates up until the current date selected. Simple as that. I'm going to commit to that, and that is nothing but my calculation group formed. Quick introduction: in case you're liking the video thus far, you're absolutely going to love my courses on Power BI, DAX, data modeling, M language, and Power Query. I have these structured courses where I start talking about concepts, fundamental concepts right from scratch. And then I take the students to the next level by talking about how to think, how to construct the logic of the problem and start solving harder problems on your own. Hundreds and thousands of students have joined my courses and they have provided some raving feedback. In case you're interested, the link of the courses is going to be down in the description. I look forward to seeing you inside the course. let's get back to the video. Once you've actually created the calculation group, it appears to be in like a table right here, which is where we call the calculation group as custom period, and within which we defined a column called period, which is where we have all the calculations lined up, and they will automatically work on whatever is the visual. So let me just go ahead and build a slicer. So Control C, Control V. I just copy that particular slicer right here, and I'm just going to move that to the right. And instead of having year in the month, I will rather have my custom period and the periods right here, just chosen in the slicer. Now, if I happen to go ahead and pick up the current month, it doesn't change anything because the sales of the current month is the very selected measure, which is total sales. But if I happen to change that to something else, perhaps let's just say last quarter, I'm taking the sales of the last quarter, or the last 12 months, or the last year, or this quarter, or the YTD. And this is beautiful. Now, the thing about calculation groups is that should you want to bring in the total units measure instead, or any other measure instead, depending upon what calculation you have defined in the slicer, you're going to take a look at all the other calculations recalculated once again. This is awesome. Now, there is one thing that I'd like to speak about explicitly is that sometimes there are going to be cases where you define a calculation and you don't want that to be affected by the calculation group. So for instance, if I create another calculation right here, which is maybe a DAX measure that actually shows me the period from which the calculation starts, or the numbers are starting from, and the ending period. Something like this. If you just go take a look at our page 1, which is where we had the finished visual, you can see that right now we have defined that the current month is starting from the 1st of July 2009 and up until the 31st of July 2009. That's what we have. Now, let's just change that. So let's just say that I want to take a look at last 12 months. This period also changes from 1st August 2008, which is the last 12 starting period, and 31st of July 2009, which is the ending of the last 12 months. It shows you that what is the actual range of the data that you're taking a look at. And this is nothing but a calculation. Now, if you're trying to define this particular calculation, like the way that we have said it in our calculation group, that it works on the selected measure, and the selected measure can come from wherever in the report, this is going to work on all the measures of the report. Now, we'll have to tweak the calculation group slightly so that we exclude this particular calculation from the calculation group. So let's just go ahead and take a look at what is this time period calculation first, that is defining our time period, and then how do we modify our calculation group. I'm going to select this particular visual right here, and I'll show you the display period measure. Display period measure is like ridiculously simple. It's just a bunch of concatenation depending upon the date selected. So I'm saying that, hey, I made the calculation group called the custom period, which you can see it right here anyways. And I'm saying that whatever is the value which is selected in the slicer drop down, be it current month, be it YTD, this quarter, last YTD, last year, whatever is the choice of the selection, please, depending upon the selection, pick up the start date, which the calculations are defined right here. And depending upon the choice of selection, please pick up the end date. And then you just concatenate the start date and the end date, and you present it like that. Seems to be like a longer calculation, but is ridiculously simple to understand. The only problem being that this particular calculation is also going to be affected by the calculation group, and it might just give us the wrong results. So I need to exclude this particular calculation from the calculation group. How do we do that? We need to make a small change in the calculation group. So here is our calculation group for the last 12 months, and I'd like to modify that this particular calculation, which is the display period, should not be affected. So what I can do is I can say something like a very simple if condition, and I'll say that if the is selected measure is nothing but the display period, that means this is the display period measure, then I just want you to give the display period measure and do not do any kind of fancy range selection as per that. And that is what I want. Otherwise, you can just do your calculate function and all of the magic that we have done. So if the display period is there, just show the display period as the way it is. Otherwise, do all of the calculate magic for the last 12 months. And if I now happen to save it, it works all right. Let's just take a look at closely as how does this affect our calculation. So if I maybe change the last 12 months to perhaps, let's say last year, you're going to see that instead of actually showing us the label of the time period, it shows us the 249K. Now, what exactly is the 249K? 249K is the sales of the last year, which is actually not showing up right. So let's just go take a look at our calculation group. If I take a look at the calculation group, my first mistake that I have done, which I did not realize, is that I have actually hard-coded total sales. It should actually reflect the selected value right here. Whatever is the selected value, not the selected value, but the selected measure right here. That is change number 1. The second change that I would want to do is that I technically want to see the period of 2008 right here, not 2007, because right now we are at July 2009, and I want to take a look at the 2008 period. So for which I'm going to go ahead and exclude this particular calculation from being used in the calculation group. Again, using the if, I'm going to say if the is selected measure is the display period measure, then I just want you to show me the display period. Otherwise, you can just do all of the calculate funky stuff that we have done in the end. I close the bracket, I commit on it. If you now take a look at our output, it actually shows you the last year calculation, 1st of July 2008 up until 31st of July 2008. And this is beautiful. Now you can endlessly customize your table visuals to show whatever kind of calculations that you'd like to show. And I've done a very interesting video on how to customize the calculations in your table visualization so that you can make them more interesting and of course better looking. I highly recommend that you watch this video next. I'll see you in that one. Cheers.